There. So we should be
Boom.
good now.
We're live. Actually, since you're host, you'll have to share the document then.
Okay. I was gonna say, couldn't we give it? We could do that, or I was gonna say we give it back to you and just make sure I'm host by the end of it.
You know what? I'm taking it back.
Yeah, that's fine. I just I was gonna say the only reason I want to be host was just to make sure that we got the recording because I figured once we got it recorded, I'd take care of it from there.
No, I'm happy to do that. It's rock and roll. Darren, what's up, man? Make sure you click on that link down below. You've done this before, DJ. This is our annual planning session. I'm going to state the intention for why we do this, and then we can actually get into the teaching. Like I've said before, this is by far my favorite call that we run. And I think the reason why I'm a bit, I guess you could say, emotionally attached to this call is as business owners, and especially for people that are new to running business or doing business online, I understand how hard this process can be. You're learning new skills, you're making videos for the first time, you're selling something that you've never sold before, you're making promises that you may not even know if you can actually deliver on, but you're trying to figure it out. Your intention, your heart's in the right place, but there's a lot of new stuff, and new stuff is usually challenging stuff, which is good for growth, but usually doesn't feel pleasant in the moment. And the reason why I love doing this is when we have a good plan and we know what our targets are and we know what we're aiming for and we know what we're suffering for through this process and what you spent a whole bunch of time, energy, and money to put forth to make this dream a reality. When you know what you're actually doing this for and why you're doing it, it pulls you through the hard times and it pulls you through the uncertainty. I think I love this because I've gone through some really super awesome and weird times in business. And the clarity that things like today's training will give you is what has given me the strength and perspective and the wisdom to be able to actually make it through the hard times, because a lot of business owners don't. And I am excited today for that reason. But before we get into this, throw inside the chat box. I want to hear from everyone. What's the biggest win that you've had since we last spoke? Throw it inside the chat. Like, what's going on? Give me something good. I'm going to celebrate, and then we can plan. Finally filmed my ads and made contact with my VA. Love that. That's so good. Those are two huge, huge things right there. Just casually moving very big rocks. Huge gains in the gym and online clients, listing numbers, stupid. Yeah, just absolutely ignorant gains. Just ridiculous. Just absolutely. It's offensive, really. Getting in front of the camera, producing content more, increasing comfort level. Yeah, Jared. Hey, shout out to the corporate lifters, man. Let's go, baby. I see you. I stalk you guys. I hope you guys realize, by the way, I'm your biggest fan. I see all your guys' stuff. I watch all your guys' stuff. And I feel like the proud mom that knows if I like and comment on everything, it's going to embarrass you. It's like, Mom, don't embarrass me in front of my friends. But I also want to show love. So shout out to everyone making content. Got asked by my old high school PE teacher to Zoom call with one of her classes to talk about exercise and nutrition and answer their questions. Dude, that's amazing. I love that. I coached 3 years at my alma mater, and it was one of the most fulfilling things I ever did. Super cool to give back. Played with some axle wheels on deadlifts last night. Pulled 500 for reps. First time since I moved here. Back isn't broken. Yeah, just way too casually. Just lifting a lot of weight. And I saw the video of that. I actually checked Branda's story because she did, in fact, post the comment. I'm not lying. I'm not lying when I say I'm the biggest fan. I mean, you guys are freaking unbelievable. VA growing Facebook group nicely and booked in a couple calls this week. Yeah, Aaron Calhoun just doing what we do. Ryan, my mom does that still. Nice. Give me a win, DJ. I want to hear from you, man. Update for us. We got our property in Florida. I'm going down to Florida right before Christmas. I'm super stoked for it. Another win. I've got a couple private workshops I'm going to be attending. It'll be really cool. And we're doing a little charity thing with, I was told there's 200,000 people going to an online event, and I'll be speaking at that event talking about what we do here with you guys. And I'm super excited to share what we do. So that'll be really fun. All right. You guys are just once again, just casually crushing life. Love that. I'm going to get into this document. Did anyone have any problems with the logistics of clicking on that document and having it pulled up in front of you? Work okay? I love when technology works. It's so much fun. All right, I'm going to share my screen and we can get into this. I want to have fun with this too. Like, by the way, before we reflect and plan, like, get yourself in a good state. Like, no negativity, no like hunched over. I'm like, oh, this year sucked. They're like, oh, this was hard in the economy and politics. Dude, like, life is good, man. We're gonna make the most of this. Make sure you're coming from a good place when we're actually rocking and rolling here. All right, annual planning intensive. We turned this into a Google Doc because my PDF document was not able to be edited. So we moved it over to a Google Doc. You didn't need to know that information. That was just 10 seconds of your life you'll never get back. Annual planning. You guys know when you show up for a call, it's going to be mediocre stand-up comedy as well. Like, this is annual planning intensive. We're going to measure backwards. This is the reflection portion of what we do here. And I want to start with this because it's hard for us to actually move forward until we actually look backwards and actually gather some data and awareness and consciousness as to, like, hey, what's been going on? What's been good? What needs to be better? So we're going to go actually segment this out in terms of the different areas of your life. Because although we are one person living one life, there are these different areas where sometimes at any given point, our performance is spiking or plummeting just because that's how life goes. So I want to give some insight as to how I am assessing myself. And I'll just be honest through this process too. So for part of this, I'll be sharing with you my personal reflection. And then some of this we'll actually just use as an example for your fitness business. Area of life, we'll go one by one. I'll give you a couple seconds for each of these. Love relationship. Everything here is on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being not good, 10 being really, really good. There's only 2 rules I have for today. Anything that is rated 1 to 10, you cannot use the number 7. 7 is a cop-out number. It's either a 6 or an 8, because a 6 versus an 8 are very different assessment levels. So that's rule number 1. And then rule number 2 is just be honest with yourself. Same thing you guys would ask from your clients. Like, just be able to really look in the mirror and be like, dude, where am I at right now? For better or for worse. So first one, love relationship. This is the romantic side of things. And we got all dudes here. So, the freaking calendar year of 2022, man. 1 out of 10, where are you at? You don't have to share this in the chat, but you have to write this down for yourself to reflect on. Can't use 7. 1 to 10. I'm literally giving myself a 1. I've been single all of this year. So once again, I told you I wanted to be honest through this. I'm like, and it's funny, but it's also a thought process that you can adopt of what is the most important areas that I'm going to focus on. You probably can't conquer all of them within 1 calendar year. So I kind of actually went into this year knowing, hey, I'm eventually going to be the CEO of this company. I didn't know I would purchase the whole damn thing. But I go, hey, for me to be the best CEO, I know myself. No chicks. No chicks going into this year. So I'm not surprised that I'm a 1 out of 10. Friendship. You and your buddies. What'd you give yourself a rating with you and your friendships this year? For myself, just a little bit of reflecting here. I had spent the majority of the year in Bali. And so some of my US friendships were turned into much more quality over quantity friendships. But when we did speak, when we did send messages back and forth, or when we did Zoom, super high quality. It was awesome. Then I met a bunch of great people that became really good friends. And a couple of them actually work here now with our business. Felix, our ads guy, for example, I met in Bali. And now he and I were literally just messaging, talking about how excited we are about the future. So I'm going to give myself I don't think I deserve an 8. I think I'm a 6 on this one. I think I'm a 6. Family. If you're a father, if you're a husband, if you're a brother, if you're a son, Extended family, you're kind of factoring everything in 1 to 10 there. Family, very similar to friends, been 10,000 miles away, so not as easy to nurture those. Family relationships, however, we grew very, I would say, closer as a family unit in terms of an immediate family. For example, I hired my little brother. My little brother and I are going down to Florida together, and we'll have that place together. I want to go 8 on family. Feel good about family. Adventures. Adventures, this one can go into a couple different areas. This is vacations. These are new experiences that you've had. These are, fun things you've done on Saturdays with you and the fam or friends. This is going to any games you wanted to go to. This is going out in nature. This is any camping stuff. I know us Midwest folk love stuff like that. Adventures. 1 out of 10. How'd you adventure this year? I'm going to say pretty solid on adventures. Yeah, I did. I mean, holy crap. I didn't realize how much I actually did until I actually thought about it. I went to Bali, saw Nick and Brandon in Missouri. I've got 4 or 5 different states I'm going to in December for these private workshops. Going down to Florida. Yeah, I was actually a pretty solid adventurer this year. Modest 13. Environment. 1 out of 10. Environment is more of a meta one. What's the vibe of your area? What's the vibe of your house? This is a little bit of where do you live? A little bit of your local town or city. A little bit of like, hey, who in your network in your local area is supporting you? Environment, I just take into account kind of the whole ecosystem. So my environment, for example, very, very different between Bali and Ohio. Bali, I am in the digital nomad capital of the world, literally. Like there's nothing but super high level people everywhere you go and everywhere you look. That is probably the ideal environment for what matters to me at the moment, which is business related stuff. Then you come back to, smaller town Ohio scenario, and it's like, yeah, there's not a lot of people doing what I'm doing. Much harder to relate. Those conversations generally don't go as well because there's just a total unrelatability factor because people's lives look so much different than mine. With nothing wrong with that, but when I'm rating my environment, Ohio environment probably a 4. Bali environment 9. So just think about that for where you're at. I don't want to rock and roll this because otherwise it's going to be a 4-hour long call. Area of life. This is more about you. Mind. Mindset. I think mindset is, if I were to give a definition of mindset, I would say it's the lens in which we see the world. It's our vantage point. It's our perspective. I like to think about what are the repetitive thoughts that we have. And what are those stories that cycle in our heads? And then kind of assessing our mindset based on that. For myself, I'm going to give myself a 9 out of 10 on the mind. I had to do a lot of work on myself to get it there. I'm going to go 9 out of 10 on the mindset. Going into COVID, I decided I was going to have a very optimistic and positive perspective on the opportunities available because of a very weird couple of years we've had. I chose that and I took responsibility for that. That wasn't easy because there were so many people not doing that, but I decided, no, this is how it's going to be. And that's been good for me. So mindset 9 out of 10 for myself. Where are you at? 1 out of 10. Spiritual. This could be in a religious context. It could be just your well-being. It could just be your soul. And you know what that means when I say it. Pretty hard to define it, though. Spiritual, 1 out of 10. Where are you at? I've done a lot of work on this as well. I'm going to go 8 out of 10 on this one. Health and fitness. How'd you do this year? 1 out of 10. Nick's modest, 13 out of 10. Health and fitness, 1 out of 10. What do you say? This fluctuated between Bali and Ohio. I'm going to go 8 out of 10 on health and fitness. Going to get back into more cardio stuff. You guys are hilarious. And then financial and business. So these two obviously are linked together, but I want to just give my thought process on how I define these. Business is the well-being of your actual business. This is like what we do when we assess the marketing, sales, delivery, technology, advertising in the business. That's your business. And then the financial is your personal financial situation. And of course, how are you doing with savings? Do you have as much money saved as you want? Would you like more? How close are you to that? How do you feel like you made decisions financially this year? Do you feel like you were good? Making good long-term decisions versus short-term decisions. Financial, hey, have I made the investments I want to make, or am I on the path to get there? Those are the things I think about with financial. Financial is more you. Business is more the business. I mean, business, I'm going to go freaking 9 out of 10. I acquired previously known as the Coaches Cartel, now the Fit Pro Association. I'm just freaking loving it. We have an amazing team. We ramp up ads, and we're going to take over the world at the next level here in 2023. I'm loving it. Financial, yeah, I'm going to say 9 out of 10 as well. How do we do on our 1 out of 10? Do we need any more time with that? I explained a little bit of context just to give us enough time. Does anyone need more time with the 1 out of 10s? Nice, then I think we're all good. Sweet. So here's where things get more interesting, because now we start to make decisions based on the data we just collected. What are the 3 areas I want to focus on in the next 12 months? So like I said, I don't think we can work on all of these and take all of them to a 10 in one calendar year. If we're being honest, I think if we did believe we could do that, then we're rating ourselves probably a little bit too politely. I think you have bandwidth, honestly, for 3 of these to really focus on in the next 12 months. This is where I do want to hear from you. Inside the chat, of these areas we just went through, what are the 3 you want to focus on? So obviously, us as a coaching team, we can help support you and hold you accountable to this. For myself, I'm absolutely going business, financial, health, and fitness. Business and body. Everything else I'm comfortable with where it's at. Business, mindset, environment. Yep. And it's fun because you get to see how all of these are linked together. Love, relationship, financial, business. Amazing. Spiritual, business, health, and fitness. Yes. And what's fun about this is there is no right or wrong answer. You just are now kind of publicly declaring what I'm going to focus on, meaning what's the target going to be, because that basically lays out what your path is and what needs to happen on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month level. Obviously, it's what we're here to help with as well. Business, love, financial. Yes, love it. Spiritual, mind, health, and fitness. The rest will fall into place. Yep. Yippers. If you haven't already, jump in, throw in your top three. Business, environment, friendship. Nice. Yeah, this is cool. Kind of knowing the context of each of your situations. This totally makes sense to me. I'm all for it. All right, let's keep going. What does a win look like for the next 12 months? So now take each of those three areas, and now we're going to have one target for each of them. The only rule here, it has to be measurable. So let's say, let's take those three. For Johnny, business is your number one. And it doesn't have to be in this order, but what does a win look like for the next 12 months? We're going to make one business goal. And then environment, what's going to be one win for the next 12 months for your environment? And then friendship, one win for the friendship. Some of these are a little bit more subjective than objective, but we want to make this as tangible as we can. So I'll give you a couple seconds here. One win for each of those. I'll go through just a couple examples for myself, just because it might help. Let's go business-wise. There's a lot I want to do in 2023. If I were to just go super big picture, business, 6 million in revenue. It's $500,000 a month, 500K. It's doable. Financial, that would allow me to. Ooh, Aaron, one random act of kindness per day, 10K per month, weigh 79 kg. Yeah, love that. Those are much easier to measure as well. Yeah, anyway, so for myself, business, 6 mil. I know of that 6. Now we get into like the taxes in that scenario. I'm not going to get too nitty gritty into all that. I know that allows me to invest about 1.5 to 2 of the 6. And I know if I make 5, 6, 7% on that a year, that could fully fund my lifestyle forever in perpetuity, which is pretty crazy to think about. Like, you really only need a couple good years to be good financially, which then begs the question of why do we play this game? And the answer we usually come around to is some form of service. Helping people is meaningful. And then health and fitness. I want to hang out about 205 pounds, 205 pounds at about 12, 13% body fat. About 215 right now. I want to get a little bit leaner. So give me your one win for each of those three areas. Biz, 17 to 20K extra monthly. Yep. Love, consistent 8 on a 1 out of 10 scale. Love that. Finances, 10K minimum extra monthly income. Yeah. Like that. We're going to break down the numbers and what it takes to actually get there. Further we go along with this, the more real and tangible it's going to feel. Let me hear them. What's the one win for each of these areas? How do we know we're winning? Quitting an addiction entirely. Fantastic. Out of debt besides student loans and comfortable 6-month living expenses saving. Yeah, that's huge. Super underrated. Hit my first 20K month. Yeah, super doable as well. Average partnering with 2 new clients a week. Choosing higher performing mindset, not letting macro uncontrollable issues get to me. Yeah, that's super good self awareness. I totally get that. Moving to NC in the business. Triangle for my wife's career and closer to my target market. Yeah, good alignment there. Business 20K month environment. To me, this is also dependent on mindset, spirituality. Yeah, of course. Friendship. I've neglected that area since our baby was born. Hoping more freedom in my business will allow me to spend more time with friends. Yeah, yep. It's a great point. I've been there too. Spiritual, much deeper faith, more peace, mind unbreakable, health and fitness, 1,500-pound powerlifting total at least. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure on all 3 of those. Yeah, absolute minimum. It might be 1,500 kgs. You keep doing what you're doing. You better be careful, son. Lifting heavy, son. Lightweight. Don't touch me. All right, I can't look at the comment section. You guys are getting me off track. All right, let's get a little more tangible here. This is the type of stuff that no one ever talks about, and I have no idea why people don't talk about this more. Obviously, everyone here, just give me a thumbs up, just so I'm not crazy, confirming I'm the only one thinking this. You've heard everyone talk about a to-do list. Yeah? Heard of what a to-do list is. You write down stuff to do, and then you check it off as you do them. Here's a question. Why does no one ever not make a not to-do list? It's an interesting question. We always think about what to do, but in pursuit of doing more things, we usually end up doing a bunch of shit that doesn't matter. It's an interesting concept, right? I want to help you guys work through some boundaries more than anything of what am I not going to do in 2023? Because when you start saying no to things, and this is obviously giving us feedback of like, hey, what are the things that I don't want to be doing? And maybe you guys could help either do it for us or create a solution. Or if you want freaking video editing and you don't want to do any video editing, let us know and I can hire a video editor and we can help you guys get into video editor, whatever. So the not to do list. I just want you to make a list, and this might take 2 or 3 minutes. List out all the things in 2023, particularly in your business, but also add into your life if you would like. What are the things that you don't want to do? What are the things and tasks that are going to go on your not to do list? So I can help you create a solution of whether we need to delegate or delete that task altogether. Write down a list of the things that you don't want to do or you believe you are spending your time on now that you shouldn't spend your time on in 2023. The not to do list. So, like when I went through this last year, it's like, hey, I don't want to cook and clean. I'm just logistically wasting time on cooking and cleaning. And then I went to Bali, partially because the logistics were so easy and I could have food prepared for me and delivered to the door and super cheap. Like, all right, on my not to do list is cooking and cleaning. That was a couple of mine. Early in my fitness business days, and I'm just going to talk with you as you're writing down stuff. And then as you come up with these, throw them inside the chat because I'm curious. Early in my days of running a fitness business, I was just doing everything. And I was like, wow, I ironically am an online fitness guy. However, I don't love being online that much. In other words, social media. I'm not a big social media guy, believe it or not. It's a great tool. I actually call it business media. I don't call it social media. I'm on social media to do business. So I just call it business media. There's obviously a very dark side to social media, especially in the fitness industry. I'm like, yeah, I don't vibe with that. I don't really like that stuff. It's weird. I know people are lying. I know they're kind of only showing their highlights. Like, this isn't real life. So guess what? On my list, it was like, I don't want to really manage my social media a whole lot. I want to spend as little time as possible basically on social media while getting the result and the benefits. So that was something I put on my list. So I got my VA, and my VA took me from $5,000 a month to $20,000 a month within 90 days, and I cut my time working in half. Like, that was a good decision. That really helped me. What else? Yeah, I didn't love the actual posting of content. I was just bouncing around from platform to platform, posting videos. I'm like, dude, there's 25 minutes of my life that I'm giving away every single day. I'm going to put that on my not to do list. All right, so throw inside the chat as you're coming up with these. Not work as many hours in the gym, only 20 want to pull down. Lat pull down. No posting on social media, only VA. Yep. Ruminate on shit I cannot control. I will now close off and turtle when stressed. Yeah, I like that. That's a good way of putting it. I do like that. Do not check Facebook regularly. Don't get up after 6 a.m. Sure. This was ramped up for me over the last couple of years. Maybe I'm just old and cranky, or maybe my standards are just increasing. I have a zero tolerance policy for negativity, just in general. I don't let people speak things over me that are disempowering. Once again, maybe I'm old and cranky, but when people are complaining about circumstances, external things, the economy, politics, oh, everything's so hard right now. I had two business coaches, people that I would say are competitors of what we do, but competition has to be competitive for it to be competition. So they're not really competitors. But they go, oh, Josh, no one is willing to invest in themselves right now. I go, oh, just because your offer sucks and you're not very good at what you do, you blame it on the people that you claim you're trying to help. I'm like, dude, I haven't sent them a DM since. Like, we haven't spoken since. I'm like, yeah, crazy negativity, lack of responsibility, no accountability. That doesn't fly. That doesn't work for me. So on my not to do list is speaking and interacting with people like that. And you do have a choice, by the way, to not engage with those people. You can say, hey, I don't accept this in my life, and I won't tolerate it. Got to protect your energy, people. Got to. You're responsible for too many people to not. Here's a couple great concept of a not to do list. Mine, I noticed more on the social mindset. Spend excessive non-productive time on social media. Yes, totally agree. Taking phone calls and conversations from energy vampire out of politeness. Yes, you're not helping anyone. If they're energy vampires, they actually don't want to even help themselves. It's a suicide mission. It's just hard to admit it. You're not a bad person for drawing boundaries. Spending too much time planning and not executing. Yep, totally get that. Trading my time for money, not having conversations that are necessary in order to avoid conflict. Yes, yes to all of that. Thank you for your self awareness. This is how we best help you. I will not write off wins. All right, jeez. You guys know what it's like to be a coach. And when your people are just like, hey, this is what I want to improve on, the transparency and self awareness and the willingness to take responsibility for that, I really respect that, because I try to do the same thing in my life. I will not write off wins. That's why I make you guys tell us our wins pretty much every time we talk. There's a reason why I make you do that. It's because I haven't been the best at that over the last 5 or 10 years. Dude, let's go. Next thing, next project, next piece of content. Get the next person on board. Blah, 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 blah. Are we really going to be on our deathbeds thinking about our to-do list? Here's a scary secret in case anyone hasn't told you. When you're on your deathbed, there's still going to be tasks on your to-do list that you haven't done yet, no matter how much you do. Get home at 8 p.m. from coaching every night. Imposter syndrome, overthinking, being an influencer, stressing about business, struggling to create content. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes is the great cliche. Make sure you're playing a game that you actually care about winning. Do not panic. Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Hey, here's the fun thing, right? And I know I'm getting a little philosophical, but I want to give you insight as to how I operate. Because now when you hear me say some of these things, you're like, oh, I get why Josh is like that. Or I get why Josh said that on the sales call. Or I get that's why he's made the decisions he's made, or that's why he's made the content he's made. I want to try to give some insight here. Do not panic. What's there to panic about, man? Last time I checked, none of us are getting out of this thing alive. It's all good, man. It's all good. I heard someone say this, and it really made me emotional. I heard this earlier this year. We're all just walking each other home. Damn, what if we actually did business like that? What if we didn't get offended by the one person that said they want to join the program and then they said, I have to think about it? Like, what if we just didn't care about that as much? What if we just like didn't freak out about that 1 month we were stressed about money? What if we just didn't freak out about the one client that ghosted you? Like, what if we just change our perspective on how we see this stuff and not take it so seriously? That's taken me about 4 or 5 years, by the way, to get to that mindset. It's not going to happen overnight if you're not already there. But when you do kind of get there, it totally changes everything. Just becomes a fun game and not this crazy high pressure situation that we think it has to be. Commuting long to the gym. Yeah, commuting sucks. That was like top 2 or 3 things for me when I wanted to go online. It's like I love driving. However, I don't love sitting in bumper to bumper traffic, literally feeling like I'm wasting my life. Slack on my own personal fitness as I become busier with my business. Yep, been there. Be inauthentic with my content, 100%. Got to be real with the people. Spend hours on content planning, filming, posting. Yeah, no need to. Trading time for money, being inefficient. Yep, agree. Give into, scroll too far. Give into a negative mindset. Allow my schedule to run wild and out of control. Get caught up in the present and not looking at the bigger picture. Tolerate negativity toward me. Love all of that. I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. Yeah, so good. Thanks for sharing that, Jared. It's so good. It's funny and it's true. Love it, Jared. Love it. Yeah. I love it. I love stuff like that. So, with all that said, this is really good because I'm sure this is probably for some of you guys the first time you thought about a not to do list. Especially in your early days, you're just thinking about all the different things you can do and check off and accomplish. Like, oh, let's actually pause here. Top 3 of everything you just told me. What are the top 3 not to do's for 2023? Throw them inside the chat because I want to know. What you worry about will never happen. Some old guy used to train back home. Yeah, I love that. Top 3 not to do's. Avoiding conflict, having non-productive conversations, not executing enough. Mm. Post to social media, set up thumbnails, etc. All right, I'll call that logistics. I will not plan and avoid executing. Spend as much time on check-ins. Need to automate more. Yes. That feels so right. Overthinking, getting home late from the gym, struggle to create content. This is good. I'm seeing a trend. Slack on my own personal fitness as I become busier. Yes. Okay. Spend hours on content, trading time for money being okay. All right. This is so good. This is so good. There's a couple elements here. Nick and Branda, make a note of this, please. Because I'm really clearly seeing how we can help these people. Really cool. Top 3 not to do's for anyone that hasn't posted. Throw it inside the chat, please. While I'm waiting for anyone else to throw in their top 3 not to do's, while we're waiting for that, inside Up Coach, we've made a couple updates for you. And it's coming to my brain now after reading all of this. There's a couple elements here. For some of you, you need to do less planning and more doing. How, though, can we best help you removing the fluff, holding you accountable to not just what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and how much of it to do, but then also following up with you to make sure that's done? I actually pre-solved that with the coaching team. You'll see inside your smart docs, you'll have a daily, weekly, and monthly little checklist to be able to send through to us. There's literally only 2 things that I want you guys to do starting from today, because myself and the Thornhills are checking this daily. On a daily basis, there's 2 simple questions. This is also just literally explaining exactly how we're going to do what I just told you we're going to do. 2 questions for you to answer on a daily basis. This takes 60 seconds for you. Very low barrier to entry in terms of time, energy, effort, output needed, but it allows us to give you what you need. What did you get done today? What do you need the most help with right now? You'll see that in the Smart Docs section of Up Coach inside the members portal. Take the 60 seconds at 5 p.m. each day or whenever, I don't care when you do it. Send that to us. Because what that allows us to do is it allows us to identify what's working and what's not working for you, or specifically what you need. Because if someone in there, what did you complete today, says, oh, I planned stuff. And if I know if it's coming from one of the overthinkers, then I get to say, hey, dude, less of that, more doing. Tomorrow, I need to see these 3 things from you. And we can just cut through straight away to what you need. And then on a weekly basis, there's just a couple basic metrics from like sales pipeline stuff. Like, hey, how many calls got booked in? How many calls did you hold? How many people did you sell? How much cash was collected? And then every week we can just take a look at that. That also takes you maybe 3 minutes for you to look at those numbers. But that allows us to help you with the exact not to-do list stuff that we just mentioned. Negativity, unnecessary social media time, stop checking emails all the time. Yeah. Love the concept of this. This is just removing all of the fluff. This is removing wasted time. This is removing tasks that don't move the needle or drive revenue. This is wasted energy in your personal life. Oh, this is so good. Yeah, you guys crushed that. All right, so last thing on the not to do thing, because then we got to keep this choo-choo train moving forward. The next actions. This is basically reversing and flipping the top 3 not to do's into what are the to do's that you're going to do about the not to do's. So if it's like, hey, one of the things I don't want to do is the social media stuff and the content and whatever. A to do for that could be like, hey, I need to talk about Josh about what it looks like to get a virtual assistant. If that's one of your things. Hey, one of my not to do's is allowing negativity in my life. All right, so what are the to do's that I would need to do to kind of offset that? Hey, maybe you need to have a conversation with a friend of yours that's done nothing but complaining recently and be like, hey, dude, I just want to let you know what's really important to me in 2023. Like, this is what I'm seeing from you, and this is how it's affecting me. Could we work on this? I just want to let you know that that's not going to fly with me moving forward. So maybe one of your to-dos is having a hard conversation that you've been avoiding. Right. So what are your to-dos? In other words, the next actions you need to take as a result of identifying your top 3 not to-dos. Right. So if I don't want to spend as much time on check-ins, maybe a message can be sent to us and up coach of how to automate that more. Then it's like, hey, have your check-in questions automatically sent to everyone, so you only have to reply to them versus I have to send stuff to people, follow up a response, and then reply, which takes twice as much time at least. Or maybe delivery. Do you want to continue doing check-ins the way you have? Maybe it's worth assessing the actual delivery side of things. Maybe we do check-ins less often. Or maybe we do a group call instead of a bunch of one-on-one check-ins, or not. We just have to determine what the next action will be. I would love to know, what are your next actions based on your not to-dos? Daily gratitude journal, and only check emails and social media messages twice per day, AM and PM. Yes.
Can I say something?
Of course.
Just got a text. One of my guys is down in the gym PRing right now, and just broke 500 pounds on the deadlift for the first time. So
the right Nick Thornhill effect.
Thornhill effect. There we go.
That's ridiculous.
Fucking sweet.
Yo!
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you guys are freaking savages. I love that you said that. I love that so much. Get a person to make YouTube thumbnails and VA uploads. Okay. Identify the biggest tasks, put goal deadlines in stone, get help on the automated check-ins, change the delivery group, email, send, explore options. Yeah. Agreed. We're going to do that. Bro. Well said. All right, peeps, give me your top 3 implementations with the not to do, because we got to keep this choo-choo train moving. Have an oh shit weight that I won't go over and stick to my nutrition goals. Nice. Need to talk about to Josh what getting VA looks like. Sure. Set time limits for tasks so I don't spend unnecessary time. I love all that. I've got nothing to add to that. We can help with that, of course. Use UpCoach Doc to hold myself accountable to action items. Have that hard conversation with the energy vampires. Limit time with them and set boundaries. Execute on a North Carolina move. Environment upgrade. Yes. Of course. So good. Work closer with VA to get help with social media content and automation. Keep pushing the online business to earn more freedom. Brilliant. Notice how clear the not to-do list actually makes your to-do list. I like doing it backwards because maybe I'm not that smart, but I like drawing the boundary of what am I not going to do? What do I don't want? And then kind of backing into, all right, what are the successful actions that are needed here? All right, love it. Let's go to the 5 drivers. I love this. Be very disciplined in my day-to-day. # efficiency. I love throwing in a hashtag on a Zoom chat. That's fantastic. You ever seen a brother put a hashtag in a Zoom chat? That's great. Self-reflect. Take some time with the wife to brag on myself. Acknowledge the actual wins. Pray more. Sure. Nick, you're amazing, man. Love the energy. Shout out Jared and Nick. 5 drivers. There's 5 elements of our business, guys. As crazy complex as we sometimes make business, the simplicity of it is there's 5 things you do. You generate leads, you nurture leads, you convert leads, you deliver to clients, and then you basically either upsell your clients into something else or you just keep them on board on your main program, ideally forever. Only 5 things we do, people. A little bit of a self-awareness exercise, because now Nick and Brandon make notes of this, because when people say I'm a 1 out of 4 on lead nurture, we then need to go help them and get them to a 4 out of 4 as fast as possible. You see the boxes here. I put the bottom box as number 1. The top box is 4. 1 being, this is a weakness for me. Like, actually, let's go. Number 1 is a problem. Number 2 is a weakness. Number 3 is a strength. Number 4 is a superpower. Lead generation, in your ability to generate leads, and throw this in the chat, please. Thanks, Nick. In your ability to generate leads, this is advertising, this is organic content, this is Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, however you get people to know who you are. 1 out of 4, where are you? 4 being superpower, 1 being a problem, 2 being a weakness, 3 being a strength. I have a feeling of where this is going to be for most people. All right, we're at 2. Consider it a weakness. Cool. Let's turn it into a strength. 1, yes. If you are in your first 90 days of business, you're probably 2 or less. Jared, 1. It's all right. We can work on it. 2 for online. Yep. 2 for lead gen. 2 for lead gen. Nurture. This is lead nurture. A lot of people forget about this one. Lead nurture is the bridge between marketing and sales. This is where we've generated a lead, meaning they know who we are. Lead nurture is the ability to take someone that knows who we are and get them in the actual sales process in the form of booking in for a sales call with you, the triage call. That's what lead nurture is. This is any email marketing you are or are not doing at the moment. This is your ability to DM with people and to get them to book in for a call. This is your VA's ability to do that. This is out of 10 people, how many of those 10 people actually book in for a call? Lead nurture, where are you at? Once people know who you are, how good are you at getting them to book in for a call? That's basically what this is. 1, 2, 3, a foe. Odds are, if your lead generation is not that high, probably your lead nurture won't be that high either. But sometimes people are just great at nurturing. They just don't have enough people that know who they are, or vice versa. Trevor, all good, brother. Thank you for being here. Congrats to your client as well. Lead nurture, where are you at? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Yep, nurture 1. All good. Conversion. This is the actual sales process. Conversion, 1 out of 4. Where are you at? This is your ability to actually get someone that's booked in for a call with you. Get digital assets. Absolutely. We're going to heavily focus on that in 2023. Conversion, this is the actual sales process. Can you fully and clearly explain to people what you do, how you help them, and how you're going to help them go from where they're at to where they want to go? How confident do you feel with your ability to convert? Yep, Aaron, 3. Awesome. So now at this point, we have people that are interested in what we do. The conversion is the actual, hey, am I going to give you money for you to teach me what you know? 3, love that. one, but I feel like this part will be smooth if I can get to the initial conversation. Agreed. Yeah. Yep. It's usually how it goes. Conversion 3, if I get someone on call or in meeting, I close most of it up. Yeah, this is what I would assume. Because now we're getting, if you notice, as we go along here in this 5 drivers, we're getting closer and closer to your zone of genius as the coach, which is the actual delivery. So if you're I need to say this, by the way, if you're a 1 or 2 on lead nurture and lead generation, that actually makes a lot of sense to me, because on the 5 drivers, you're basically 3 slots away from what you actually do best. We're getting farther and farther away from your zone of genius, which is why you're here. And that's why all of quarter 1 is going to be focused on client acquisition. I don't want to ignore delivery because we are coaches at the end of the day. And there are some coaches that talk way too much about, I want leads, I want ads, blah, 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 and they forget to coach their clients. We're not going to be that. But quarter 1, Nick, Branda, Josh, all we're going to talk about is how do we generate more leads for a cheaper cost in advertising? How do we make better content to organically get more people on board? How do we use all 7 sources of lead generation and client acquisition to get more people on board so you can have more money impact in freaking freedom? Quarter 1, all we're talking about is getting more clients. Because everyone that is a 1 or 2 right now, mark my words, you're going to be at least a 3 by the end of quarter 1. I will not rest until you are. Today's been good. This is fun. Delivery. 1 out of 4. Where are you? Probably going to see a lot of 3s and 4s here. Delivery 3. Need to work on optimize the online delivery onboarding experience. Yes. Priority will be onboarding. Nick, 4.5 to 5. Yep. That was pretty straightforward. This is an interesting one. The 5th driver. Upsell and retention. How good are you? The question here to answer out of 1 to 4 is, how good are you at getting people that after they complete their 3 or 6 month program or whatever to either stay with you or to sell them something else? Maybe you come out with a VIP program that instead of $300 a month is $600 a month, or people stay at their normal program. How good are you at keeping people on board and or selling them other stuff? Might be hard for you to know if you haven't taken a lot of people through your current program if you're new. But this is how you take a $1,000 client and they become a $6,000 client. Get them to sign on 2 or 3 more times, and then eventually, I launch a supplement company or whatever, and you sell supplements and you make an extra $3 or $4 grand a month selling supplements per client. I'm sorry, with all your clients in total. Then you go, hey, now I've got $3 million in the bank. I'm going to go start a meal prep service. Like, oh, wow, that's really cool. So then that 1K client plus supplements plus meal prep, and then maybe they go to a VIP program. It's like, holy crap, we just 10x your business by just adding in a couple really cool offers. Upsell 3, maybe 4. Most people I work with usually stay. Sometimes they leave and come back. Yeah. 1. Yep. And that's probably only because you haven't taken that many people through your program yet. I have a feeling your market will love you because of how nuanced and detailed your market actually is. And you get a lot of all-in personality types with what you work with, which I love. Yeah, just need the experience. Yeah, love that. 1 through 4, where are you guys at with retention and upsell? And then I want to go through one more math exercise, and then we'll need to keep the choo-choo train moving along with our day here. It's been really good. All right, do this with me, fellas. I'm going to pull out the calculator app just to make sure I'm good on my math. The annual sales projections. This is the holy grail. As great as the last hour has been, and as important and valuable as the things we just talked about are, these are the numbers. This is on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. When we look at your guys' stuff, this is the priority. because this shows me where all of the gaps are in your business and what holes need to be filled. It is true. Numbers don't lie. And what gets measured gets improved. If there is anything to be anal about in the next 12 months, it's this right here. This is what I look at pretty much every day for my business. This is what I care about. The annual sales projections. What's your annual income goal? In 2023, how much money do you want to earn? Throw it in the chat. We're going to do the math together because there are some calculations I want to make sure you guys get the math right. What's your annual income goal? $120, $120, $160. Yeah, I can see we're operating on the $10K per month, which I love. It's great. $100. If anyone says less than $100, we're gonna have a problem. You guys know how I feel about that. Don't set a goal less than $100. Amazing. So here's what we do for letter B now. Now that we have our annual income goal, make sure you wrote that down. What's your monthly income goal? All we're doing is taking your annual income goal and dividing it by 12. So if you said 100, divide 100 by 12, it's going to be 8333. If you're 160, take 160,000 divided by 12. I want to say is that 15? 13K a month, something like that. I'm no mathematician. What is it, 12.5? So all you're doing for letter B is taking your annual income divided by 12, and you got your letter B. And then letter C, what do you charge per month? Yeah, cool, Ryan. Yeah, Johnny, cool. Letter C, write down what you charge per month. 200, 300, 400, 500, whatever. How many clients do you need on board per month to hit your monthly income goal? All we're doing there, guys, is taking your monthly income goal and dividing it by how much you charge. So let's say my monthly income goal is 10K, and let's say I charge 400 per month. 10,000 divided by 400 is 25. So I need 25 clients on board to hit 10K per month if I charge 400 per month. Obviously, if you charge less, you need to have a higher volume of clients to hit whatever number you're at. This is why, ideally, you charge as much as possible. It lowers the volume of sales you actually need. However, some of your guys' skills, just because you're so new, some of your skills aren't necessarily there yet, but that's why we want to get you there as fast as possible. So you don't have to make a freaking billion sales to be able to get to 10 or 20K a month. Yeah. Okay. Aaron, 37 new clients needed at 200. Great. So now we go through how many clients do you have right now? Write down however many clients you have right now. I got 5 people. I got 3 people. I got 27 people. I got 47 people. Currently charging $350 for one-on-one online. I want to improve my system and delivery to be able to charge $500, $600 per month for a 3-month agreement, more intensive coaching, then graduate them to the recurrent model of 200. Yeah, love that. I'm all for that. Hey, Nick and Branda, let's help Johnny with whatever he needs with delivery right now to be able to get to that price point as fast as possible. I'm going to go with onboarding, and really tightening up the onboarding will be the number one thing.
Okay.
So how many clients do you have right now, and how many clients do you need? So in my example, I needed 25 people to pay me 400 to get to 10K. Let's say I already have 7 of those people. I'm going to take 25 clients minus 7, and I need 18 more people. Still good on the math? Boom. Is anyone not good on the math? Just let me know. This exercise is the most math I've done since college. It just so happens I like to count money more than geometry. Is anyone with me on that? We just count reps and money around here. We are fitness people at the end of the day. All right, so now we go to letter G. Include your churn. Churn is just the amount of people or coaching clients that leave you on a monthly basis. These are payment problems that you have. These are people that ghost. These are people that fall off. We're going to assume a 10% churn here, which is very high. I actually consider about 2.5% churn to be acceptable in a coaching program. Anything above that is a problem. So I'm like kind of assuming a worst case scenario here, 10%. If, by the way, you just are thinking in your head, oh, wow, like I'm probably at or above 10%, like go talk to myself and Nick and Branda as soon as possible because that's not okay. Include your churn. Multiply that by your monthly churn. So you're going to take your number of the amount of clients you need to have your income goal, and you're going to multiply it by 0.1. So let's say I need 25 clients times 0.1. It's 2.5 clients. What number should I use if I don't have this number yet? Just go with the 10%. Now, the thing I really want to get to here is the strategy calls. So then you could multiply. Now, how many clients do you need? So now you have to subtract the churned clients by 2.5 out of 25 and be like, oh, okay, well, if I need 25 people, then I actually need 28 people because I'm subtracting my 28 to the 2.5 that gets me to 25 people. Because that 28 minus the 2.5 actually gets me to the 25. And in that example, I'm assuming I have no clients right now. Don't worry about the math on that because that's where it gets a little bit tricky. As long as you know up to your churn, where am I at, you're fine. What I want to spend time on is actually crystallizing that. How many strategy calls do you need? So let's go. I actually want to use one of you guys as an example. Can I use one of you guys as an example here? Does anyone want to volunteer? Just unmute yourself and yell at me.
You can use me if I need to.
I'm down.
Yeah, all good for me.
Okay, Johnny, let's rock and roll with you here. Let's do the math on this. How many more clients do you need to hit your goal? Just the number of clients.
Like on a monthly basis.
Just total.
So the kind of math I looked at, I'm looking at about 22. I'm onboarding 22 people per month.
Okay, got it. So let's do this. I'm going to assume 50% for each step in the pipeline here. This is very conservative. You guys should be much better than 50%, but I'm going to assume 50%. It makes the math easy. So you need 22 clients. The strategy calls are the closing calls. Let's assume you only sell 1 out of 2 people you speak with at 50% closing rate. That means you need 44 strategy calls. So for everyone else, just take your number of clients that you need, double it. That's how many strategy calls you need. If you need 25 clients, that means you need 50 strategy calls. If you need 100 clients, that means you need 200 strategy calls. Okay, so we're good there. Just double the amount of clients you need, you're at the strategy calls. Trev, so Johnny, that means if you're at 44 strategy calls, the amount of triages you would need, let's also double that. Say 1 out of 2 triages you speak with, either you actually don't speak with them because they didn't show up, or they're not a good fit, they don't qualify. So let's also assume 1 out of 2 there. So in order for you to get the 22 clients, you need 44 strategy calls. And in order for you to get the 44 strategy calls, let's say you double that, you need 88 triages booked in.
Gotcha.
So now applications are the amount of people that booked in for a triage. The triage call is the actual triage call that took place. The applications are people that booked in. So now we're assuming if half the people don't qualify that you speak with, let's also assume half the people that book in don't show up. So we're going to take that 88 and we're going to multiply it by 2. We're just going to double it again. Which once again, you guys should be more in the 60, 70% range for all of these. I want to be conservative though. I'd rather be conservative than overhype it. So that means you need 176 applications to get to your 88 triages, to get to your 44 strategy sessions, to get you to your 22 new clients. Which is pretty crazy to think about. So let's say you worked 48 weeks out of 52. Give you a full month off. Which is pretty cool, by the way. I'm just assuming we're going to take 4 full weeks off in 2023. Which is another conversation with the whole boundaries thing. Let's take your 176 and divide it by 48. Think about this, guys. 7 billion people on the planet. This is why we're going to focus on client acquisition, because you guys a lot of times think you're farther away than you actually are to the business that you want. On a 7 billion people planet, if you took off a full month next year, you only need 3.6 applications on a weekly basis. You don't even need one person booking into your calendar each day of the week. It's almost one person every other day. One person every 48 hours on a 7 billion people planet to book in for a call with you. Or a team member. A lot of you guys will get halfway through next year and, actually start hiring salespeople to take those calls for you. And then you'll be only coaching. Imagine how cool that'll be. And you literally just show up and coach. I promise there will be a day when that happens. Although it's crazy to fathom right now. That's pretty cool. So guess what we do? Nick and Branda, this is all we're doing with Johnny, and this is all we're doing with everyone else. On a weekly basis, all we're asking, how many applications, how many triages, how many strategy calls, how many did you close? Even with everything else just said, nothing else matters. So then when we look at that pipeline, we get to find, it's a pipeline. So we get to find where the holes are if there are any. All right, so if we look at, we know we need 3.6 applications and we only had 2 this week. What needs to happen in marketing or the lead generation or lead nurturing process to double that? Because we need to be at 3.6. If we're not 3.6, we got to fix it. Like, hey, no, we actually had 6 applications this week, but then only 2 of them showed up. Like, so now we have to create like a show up system to make sure people actually show up to the appointments they book in for. So let's go fix the show up system this week. Because now we're good on the amount of applications, but we're not good on the amount of people that applied that actually show up to a triage. Like, okay, so we fixed that now. All right, great. Now we have all these triages and a bunch of people qualify. We get freaking 12 people that show up to a triage. Let's say we got 8 out of the 12 to show up for a strategy call. Well, now out of 8, we only sold 1 of them. Like, okay, let's look at how that conversation is going. What are the objections you're getting? Should they have been qualified a little bit harder? Did we actually just have an inflated number of 8 because we didn't want to have a hard, confrontation in the triage, and they actually should have been filtered out of the process? Like, what happened there? So when we look at your pipeline, these numbers will tell us what we need to be able to do to help you get the numbers that you need to get the amount of clients, to get the amount of money that you want. This is the nitty-gritty. This is the detail. These are the numbers. These are the same pipeline numbers that I evaluate for our business as well. Is there anyone that isn't clear on their math? of what we just went through? If needed, I'm happy to go through another example.
So with that math, are we accounting on the people that also stay on? So say they stay on the recurrent, say $200 a month payment.
Yeah, so here's what's cool. I didn't even count any of those people.
Right. So
I'm assuming everyone starts from 0.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. It did not count any of the people you currently have. Which means you'll actually probably blow away the number that you just set up. I really lowball this stuff. That's the dream, 200K. Yeah, 100%. Like, it's so doable. Because guess what? I'm going through the same math on 6 million. And although that sounds like probably a crazy number for someone that has a goal of 100, 150, 200K, the math I'm doing is the same. It was on my iPad. I have it on my iPad right here. I go, what's the math on that? And I literally had it written out. I was like, okay, it's 500K a month. I have a couple different price points I want to play with in the upcoming year. I'm like, okay, if I charge this, how many people do I need? How many calls do our salespeople need? Okay, this many people don't show up or this many people don't qualify. I'm like, okay, I have my numbers for 6 million. It's the same math you guys are doing at 100. That should be very reassuring to you. The reason why I say that is when you realize the math between building a 100K business versus building $1 million a year business is the exact same. The only difference is a 0 in your ability to think bigger. It becomes a really interesting discussion. Okay, guys, we're over time, but I'm hoping this was worth it for you. That's everything I have for you right now. We're not going to talk about this 12-week game plan. We'll talk about that at a later time. And then you can also go through some of these other questions of how would I like my business to look in 12 months, what's working well, what's not working. We identified that with the 5 drivers, but just due to time, I'm going to cut it here. I've got to know because I'm actually starting to lose my voice now. Yeah, the difference between your 100K and your 1 million is your mindset. It is true. Absolutely true. We'd love to know inside the chat box. What was the most helpful thing from today? Most helpful, most encouraging, created the most clarity on. What's like the one thing you take away from today? I just want to know so I can do more of what's helping. Thank you so much for being here, by the way. Annual sales projections. Yep. I know it's also a weird thing in business to like assess yourself and to know like, hey, how am I doing right now? Like, am I actually doing okay? Like, am I on pace to get to where I want to get to? And there's a lot of ambiguity and a gray zone around that. Those annual sales projections, that's what you look at on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And that's it. That tells the story we need. Seeing the weekly breakdown of new clients needed made the total clients needed much more realistic. The sales projections at the end and identify through next session. Here's the thing, fellas. Think about it like this. If you have 0 clients right now and you literally have no people on your coaching program, there should be 0% of your body that's discouraged by that. Because for a lot of you, you're somewhere between 20 and 40 clients to get to where you want to get to. Work with me on this. Let's say you needed 26 clients to get you to your income goal. Say you need 26, which is plus or minus 5 for where pretty much all of you are. Do you realize that even if half of the weeks in 2023, you sold nobody, but all of the other weeks, you sold one person? Do you realize that's 2 clients per month? And you're at your dream business, at least the first version of it, volume 1.0. You're there. And I'm assuming half the time you just completely fail, which is not going to happen. I won't let that happen. And then just 1 client per week on the other 2 out of 4 weeks in a month. But here's the problem with people. They judge themselves so hardly in the short term. And they can't zoom out and extend their time horizon and their patience horizon. Because you could do almost nothing right in the next 12 months and sign on 2 people per month. Like 2 people on a 7 billion people planet. What if you just said for the next, this might be the most valuable part for everyone, because I know I've been really judging myself hard in my earlier days. Could have given myself a lot more grace and patience with myself. What if for the next 12 months you adopted what is now my mindset of chop wood and carry water? Sun, snow, sleet, hail, regardless of what the external circumstances are, regardless of the craziness happening in your world and the world. What if you just commit to doing the right actions the right way for the volume needed and consistency needed for the next 12 months and not judging yourself a lick? And not even asking yourself the question of, is this working? Am I going to be able to do this? Is it ever going to get better? Not asking yourself any of those questions for 12 months. And then when you guys sit down with me next year and we do the same thing for your business next year, and then you hit your 147K, and then your next goal is 300K. What if you didn't judge yourself at all until we have this podcast in 12 months' time? Because I can do almost everything but tell the future, but I can pretty much promise you hit your client and income goal if you just commit to the next 12 months of doing what Nick, Brandon, and myself will ask of you without judging yourself too hard. Forcing me to dig deeper, a lot of the time I struggle to ask the right questions to get the answer I'm looking for. It helps to bounce off of ideas without it. Usually ends up answering my own question. Yeah, this is why we run these calls, man. We're here to help. We're here to help. Does that make sense, though? Like, it'd be a great concept for your clients, too, of like, okay, what if you just didn't freak out about the 1 week that your scale didn't go down by 4 pounds? And what if you actually accepted the fact that losing half a pound every single week for the next 12 months is basically a complete body transformation and is totally insane? That is crazy progress. Do we all agree? If someone actually lost a half a pound, knowing they're going to build muscle throughout the process, because obviously the scale isn't the only thing we assess progress by, and as well as body measurements and progress photos and performance in the gym and happiness in life, that's insane progress. I wrote a something I want you guys to write your own version of, but I'm going to put inside Up Coach. The best advice I've given in 10 years of coaching. It was something I gave all of my fitness clients. I gave it to 15,239 people, and I would send it to everyone within the first 7 days of being with me, particularly online coaching. And it was this concept of play the long game. And it's a big, beautiful thing. I'll send it inside Up Coach. What if you could get all of your clients to commit to 12 months of just doing the freaking nutrition and training? And the habits and the sleep and the supplements and whatever you do. You know they would get to where they want to get to. It's a math equation. So this is the fun thing about coaching, right? Because now we have who the person is and all their personal problems that get in the way of them executing, which is what we obviously get to guide people through as coaches. So just an interesting concept, right? Chop wood, carry water. Easier said than done. But if it can be said, it can be done. All right. Thank you so much for the FPA. Anyone else want to jump in? Most helpful stuff. I think everyone shared. All right, cool. Nick and Brandon, anything for the people?
I found your 10 years of coaching thing on Slack, and I'm copying and pasting it to the partnership group now.
I mean, this guy's clutch. I mean, that's just solid right there. Thanks, man.
Oh, shit. Actually, you may want to do it because it's not spaced out properly.
Is it all lumped together?
Yep.
Okay. I'll put it in a Google Doc. I'll share the Google Doc.
That'll probably work. Boy, I tried.
Good try, man. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. We're good.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all time. Great call. Thank you, Jared. Aaron, thanks. Great call. Thank you. Ryan, thank you, man. And I love that we get to experience 2023 together, life and business, all the good stuff. I appreciate you being here. I don't take it lightly that you are here. And myself and the coaching team, we are absolutely 100% committed to getting you to where you want to get to, which is why we went through everything we went through today. So one thing I will ask, keep this as a recurring thought in your daily, weekly, monthly reflections of how you think about what you do. Because when you start to veer a little bit mentally and you start talking crazy to yourself, or you have a bad sales week, or you have a couple clients that just, for whatever reason, become demonic and fall off, and you're like, oh, what happened? And you deal with these craziness stuff in life and business, come back to this. Come back to the numbers. Come back to over 12 months, whatever short term you're experiencing right now does not matter at all, for better or for worse. Come back to this. Make this a recurring thought, a recurring Nick, your host, man. Make this a recurring part of your life, because the reflection has allowed me to show up as who I want to, because I was able to gain more awareness and consciousness.
Yes, I'm the host.
Your host, Nick.
Yep.
Everyone else, I'm sweating. I'm going to go hydrate. That was a full body workout. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.